Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, an independence challenge to Dominicans to change their attitude to foster nation building. Charles Savarin to be sworn in for another 5-year term as president. And Guadeloupe native dies in motorcycle accident in Granby. The details coming up.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Dominicans are being challenged to change their attitude to ensure nation building.
The call came from Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit when he addressed the official opening ceremony of the Reunion Independence over the weekend.
We need to reflect and to do some introspection as a nation about our attitudes to each other. Do we greet each other as we did back in the days? Do our children show respect for seniors in our society as we did before? Do our children greet us on the streets as we did back in the days? One gets the sense that the more developed you get, is the more you relinquish your cultural heritage. And I want to caution our country that it is our cultural heritage that distinguishes us from the rest of the world.
Mr. Skerrit says it is imperative that young people are taught the history and culture of the country so that the heritage remains vibrant for future generations.
That at our primary and secondary schools in Dominica, there are just too many academic subjects our children are exposed to. We need to ensure that we teach our children the history of Dominica, the history of our Caribbean, and to also expose our children to the cultural heritage of our country. Because yes, our children get 12 and 31 at CXA, which is commendable, and we must applaud. But how much do they know of our cultural heritage? How much do they know of our history? How much do they know of our tradition?
The Prime Minister also called on Dominicans to change their mindset towards garbage disposal, as Dominica needs to maintain its clean and green reputation.
We cannot boast to the world that we are the natural island of the Caribbean, merely by the trees and the rivers and the natural beauty and fauna which the good Lord has bequeathed to us. We must do more to protect and preserve our nature, our environment. And therefore, we need to ask ourselves, are we doing enough as a nation to keep Dominica clean and to keep Dominica beautiful?
Dominica will celebrate 40 years of political independence on 3rd November.
The country's showcasing of its culture is being described as proof to the world that the nation is resilient and strong.
That's according to Minister for Tourism and Culture, Senator Robert Tong. Tong was addressing the official opening of the country's Reunion Independence, which is being held under the theme, My Love, My Home, My Dominica, Building a Resilient Nation.
The theme evokes the feeling of a duty and a commitment to defend Dominica and to protect her in the face of various challenges. It embodies the attitude that Dominicans must embrace in order to unify efforts, forge ahead as a nation, and build a more resilient and prosperous Dominica. These celebrations are thus a very special one, given our present circumstances, We recognize that there are many challenges facing us in our rebuilding efforts. However, by putting a world-class celebration, we are demonstrating to the rest of the world that we are resilient, that we are strong, and that together we can overcome adversity.
Meantime, Chairman of the Reunion Committee, Hubert Charles, says one of the objectives of this year's calendar of activities is rebuilding for resilience. He says the events are also focused on Dominicans both here and abroad and how they can help develop the country.
The key target of the program is people. Whether you are living here or whether you are a resident overseas, the idea is to welcome you and to urge you not just for the independence season, but beyond, to get engaged in the question of development. Visit various parts of Dominica that you're not familiar with. See the different developments that are taking place, but also familiarize yourselves with the challenges and rededicate yourselves to the challenges, as I said, not just during the independence season, but way beyond.
And in case you missed it, here are some excerpts from Saturday's Independence opening ceremony. Dominica's President, His Excellency Charles Savarin, will continue as President. Parliament voted on Monday to re-elect His Excellency Charles Savarin for a new 5-year term. Monday's election was not without dispute. The leader of the opposition raised concern that the proceedings should be adjourned to Friday to make allowance for the 14-day period within which a nomination could be made. The opposition leader objected as he did not believe the 14-day period provided by the Constitution was being observed. The opposition leader said the period had not elapsed and going ahead with the vote would constitute a violation of the Constitution. But the Attorney General made the point that if followed, the opposition leader's suggestion to adjourn to Friday would leave the country without a president for the intervening period. The AG also said there was no dispute about the 14-day period, but the Constitution must be interpreted in a way that makes it serve as a living document. He also said the 14 days provided in the Constitution was not mandatory but declaratory. Following the AG's presentation, the Speaker of the House announced that the proceedings were lawful and the election of a president should go ahead. President Charles Savarin was the only nominee to be considered when Parliament voted on Monday to re-elect him as the country's head of state. He will be sworn in on Tuesday. You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Dominica's Foreign Affairs Minister challenges the UN to take action on climate change.
At Millennium Freight Services, we offer a wide range of shipping solutions. Internet shoppers sign up for your free U.S. address with AirPost. And with AirPost warranty in return, you can count on peace of mind for all your pieces. Shipping to and from anywhere around the world, from large containerized cargo to smaller packages with Liat Cargo and UPS. Shipping from Trinidad, Logistics International's got you covered. Avoid the port with our customs clearance and optional home delivery services. Ask about our packing services. We make moving easy. MFS, your one-stop shipping solutions company.
Minister for Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Honorable Francine Barron, has challenged world leaders to do more to combat climate change. Speaking at the United Nations General Assembly on the weekend, Foreign Minister Barron noted that it was just 1 year ago that Prime Minister Skerrit stood before the UN and sounded a call for action on the issue of climate change. Barron told the gathering it was time to act on the pledges and promises made to fight climate change.
1 year later, where are we? What have we done? What have we achieved? Among and around us are many who still deny the reality of climate change. We have not, as a global community, agreed upon a plan for implementation of the commitments made in Paris at COP21. Additionally, we have not mobilized the resources to capitalize the $100 billion per year, which was agreed upon to assist the most vulnerable to adapt and mitigate against the harmful effects of climate change.
The minister said while the UN has failed to keep its commitments, climate change marches on. She said poverty, inequality and violence are shared responsibilities as well, but their modern-day manifestations are wrapped up in climate change. She noted that the poor, who are most affected by climate change, also have the least capacity to escape the heavy burdens of poverty, disease and death.
Distinguished delegates, this is precisely the issues for which we have assembled our United Nations. Let this not be just another moment to simply sharpen the rhetoric or to speak merely of redoubling current efforts. We have done that too many times before, and we have watched climate change ravage on regardless. While we pontificate and engage in a perpetual debate, climate change will march on, laying waste to our forests and fields, whipping up the fury of angry winds, and punishing rains, wrecking lives and livelihoods.
Minister Barron called for a collective effort to arrest the efforts of climate change. A vehicular accident over the weekend has left a 20-year-old national of Guadeloupe dead.
The accident, which occurred on Sunday morning, is still under investigation by the Dominica Police Force. According to Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Simon Edwards, the driver lost control of the motorcycle, plunging into a ravine in the Grand Bay area.
The Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force is investigating a fatal vehicular collision which occurred at 8 a.m. at Mitcham, Grand Bay on Sunday, 30th September 2018. Deceased is Olean Tyrell Baptiste, male 20 years of Guadeloupe. According to the information, Baptiste was riding motorcycle registration number PU 535 in a westerly direction on the road in Mitcham when he lost control and plunged 30 feet into a ravine. He was transported by personnel of the Fire and Ambulance Service to the Grand Bay Health Center and then transferred to the Accident and Emergency Department of the Princess Margaret Hospital. Sometime later on that same day, he succumbed to his injuries and was officially pronounced dead by a medical doctor. The body was transported to the Gentle Rest Funeral Home. A post-mortem will be conducted.
And 18 years ago this week, in fact Sunday the 1st of October 2000, Dominica lost the late Prime Minister Roosevelt Rosie Douglas. Prime Minister Douglas, who had been in office for only 8 months, was found dead in his Portsmouth home. I worked at DBS Radio at the time and interviewed him on the Saturday night before his untimely passing. He had just returned home from an overseas trip. The late Prime Minister was personable, and during our interview I remember vividly telling him that I thought he sounded very tired. He would be succeeded by the late Pierre Charles, who also died in office as Prime Minister 4 years later in January of 2004.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. An independence challenge to Dominicans to change their attitude to foster nation building. Charles Savrin to be sworn in for another 5-year term as president. And Guadeloupe native dies in motorcycle accident in Granby. Feel free to contact us at news@NewsMon1stOct2k18.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.